So they still believe they can and will win Pennsylvania, but they feel good about Michigan. They feel good about Wisconsin, relatively good. It may be a landslide. Maybe they'll win by a full percentage point in both of those states. But in Pennsylvania, they know it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight because she's doing better, much better among women and most young voters, but older white men, just like people thought after Biden left the race, more of a challenge, pulling them to vote against Trump again.
Just stop and think about what he just said, okay? When Biden got out of the race, you got white men who were, so let me get this straight. The white men that were going to vote for Joe Biden because, well, he's the white candidate, will no longer vote for him because it's an evil, strong, independent black woman, don't need no man. That makes no sense whatsoever. But he wants you to buy it. He wants you to buy that, well, it's, once again, it's those old white men. But what old white men? What are you talking about, Joe? You do understand Republicans were never, ever going to vote for her. So those are not the old white men that you're talking about. Exactly what old white men is he talking about? Well, should be fairly clear. Because the only people that were going to vote for Sleepy Joe were old white men. Right? This is how dumb they think you are.
Yeah, I mean, older white men and actually younger white men too.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Did she say young white men too? Oh, well, that's... No, it's worse than that. And they all know it's worse than that. Just keep looking.
Also a bit of a challenge. I mean, that number they'll like a lot, up +5 in Pennsylvania, because you're right. It's the new Ohio. It's the new Florida. It's the state where they see they have the most problems. And, of course, then either the concern or the upside, depending on how you look at this from the Harris campaign's point of view, is that Pennsylvania, Michigan and Wisconsin people think will break the same way. That's what they've done traditionally ever since 1980. I think there's one exception. And so if they lose Pennsylvania, what would that then mean for Wisconsin and Michigan? If they win Wisconsin and Michigan, does that mean they're going to win Pennsylvania? But that's why they're putting so much resources into that. But it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can. You can see, I think the debate next week will be really interesting to see.
Old men, young men, men of color, men in every demographic don't like Kamala, period. And there's nothing you can do to change that. Now, you got to know, when you have not a scintilla of authenticity, well, you have to, start to pander. And Tim starts to pander, and they know it. Oh, hold on a second. Keep listening.
Tim Walz reaches out to that group. Mm-hmm. Doug Emhoff, who I interviewed yesterday, I think we've got a clip of that we can have later on the program. He is making a concerted effort in his own way to reach out to that group.
So Tim Walz and Kamala's husband are making a concerted effort to get those men. We got to get those men, but how are we going to do that? Like this.
Hey everybody, Governor Walz here. My 79 International Harvester Scout and my 5-year-old Black Lab Boxer Scout. Everything works on here, except one thing I'm still tinkering with, cruise control. So I'm gonna show you how to fix that. At the same time, we talk about creating an opportunity economy so that everybody can get the opportunity to thrive. So come here, take a look at this. I'll show you how this thing works. It's fascinating how the cruise control works on these old vehicles. All right, here we go. 345 International motor.
Now you're supposed to believe right off the bat that, hey, man, he's been doing this and all the time. He's right in the middle of, tinkering with this, dirty engine. But his hands don't look dirty at all. Was he tinkering with it or not? I'll tell you. If I put oil, and I'm just talking about oil. If I put oil in my truck, filthy. My hands are like filthy. Just, raising the hood, taking the cap off, doing whatever need. I'm not talking about being in, right in the middle of it. But somehow, some way, his hands are perfectly clean.
No computers, all analog. And this is the cruise control. This thing works on vacuum, pulls, and this is ingenious. This arm is just a chain that slides back and forth inside this arm. And when it's working, works within a couple miles per hour. If J.D. Vance, along with Donald Trump, get the opportunity, the folks getting the tax cuts are going to be the billionaires. They don't care about fixing the cruise control on a 79 International because they can buy whatever they want. Middle-class folks are the ones that need the tax cut. That's what a President Harris administration will do.
I've already been over this. They are going to end up obliterating the middle class. All of those jobs, they're out of here. If she gets anywhere near the White House, those jobs are gone. Why? Because she's going to tax these corporations into oblivion. And despite what she told you, I hang out with those CEOs and, well, they can't wait to pay their fair share. If you believe that, why are you even at this channel? Seriously, if you believe that, this is probably not the channel for you. Okay? This is all contrived. This is all to make you believe somehow he's just like you. He's just hanging out, fixing his car, and you have to just buy it. Why? Because men don't like Kamala, period. That's the reason. Now, many of you are probably have heard the, nickname Tampon Tim. Have you heard that? I'll bet you have. Well, here's the reason. It's from the Washington Times. Walz dubbed Tampon Tim by Trump fans over law requiring menstrual products in boys' restrooms. But he needs those men. He's reaching out to men. And I guess you're just supposed to buy that aw shucks shtick. And just the one thing that Donald Trump has in droves is authenticity. Go ahead, say it with me. Authenticity. You see, you can't fabricate what's happening with Donald Trump with regard to men, women, young people. TikTok, he is blowing up. But see, let me show you why I know Kamala ain't got a snowball's chance in Haiti. Did you see that? Yeah, that was a football stadium. The second they put his face on the Jumbotron, this happens. You can't fake that. See, you can't make that up. That was authentic. Nobody told anyone to cheer. No one told anyone to raise their hands or wave their pom-poms. Nobody told anybody anything, but the second Donald Trump's face hits the Jumbotron, they all go berserk. That's why I told you. Kamala's not going to win. And all the gaslighting and manipulating Google searches, and then when you type in something like, Trump's polling with, older white men, you get a bunch of stuff about Kamala doing so good with all of the demographics. See, that was authentic. No one made that up. Okay. Tampon Tim trying to, convince you that he's actually working on his car. It's like, let's see, I got to get to these men. How am I going to get to them? But they can't know that I'm, pandering. And we got to pander. And I'm not talking about normal pandering. I mean, we got to pander and pander hard. Men do not like the ticket. They don't like Kamala. They don't like Tim. And there's nothing you can do to change that, other than switching out your candidates. Yeah. You could switch them all out and put RFK Jr. in Kamala's place and Tulsi Gabbard in Tim's place. But they've already endorsed Trump. So morons. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.